you have to be a risk taker to succeed in crypto. That's what we get told. And I want to speak on that today, because I think a lot of the time we are told what risk is, and we're almost convinced of what we see with our own eyes and what we know in our own mind. We're convinced that that's wrong. So much like with all the things you see in the news, there's tons of stuff that the news makes us believe are real, even though like you know that's not real. Like you haven't ever experienced that, you've never seen that. It's just propaganda. It's stuff that you're told. And so when we get told by the big banks what is risky and what is not risky, should we also be listening to that like completely and blindly? Because when you do that, you don't challenge the traditional way of doing things. Crypto in and of itself is not traditional. This is not a traditional thing. The traditional world, the traditional financial system is trying to apply some level of pressure and power over the populace by controlling the populace so that we don't get involved in crypto, because crypto is a solution that they want to take advantage of. So do we. So first is understanding where the word risk is coming from. Like, who's telling us what's risky? What do we know? And how do we then define risk ourselves for that? So for example, I want to give this one. The banking system will tell you that crypto is extremely, extremely risky. But I know that the financial system needs to be overhauled. And I know the solution to that problem. The solution not only is crypto and blockchain, but in the payments world, for example, you've got the likes of XRP. It solves the problem. I know this. Why should I listen to the bank that tells me that cryptocurrency is risky? Yeah, I understand, but for me, investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum is more risky than investing in XRP, because I know the problem that XRP is solving. I'm not really entirely sure what Bitcoin or Ethereum are doing, except from being promoted by the government. I don't trust everything the government does. So I'm certainly not going to listen to the advice that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the least risky options in the crypto market. I think the least amount of risk you can take is in an asset that you know will grow. For me, I know XRP will grow. So ask yourself that question about risk. Who's telling you what's risky? Pay attention to yourself and understand your own research that you've been doing. Only then can you challenge the traditional way of thinking and doing things in crypto. And so with that said, I've put together 6 or so different rules that you can follow if you want to thrive in cryptocurrency. And the first one ties perfectly into what we've just been talking about. This is the myth of playing it safe. Many people believe that the safest way to invest in crypto is to stick to the most well-known coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But what if I told you that this safe strategy is actually a myth? So the common belief here is that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the safest strategy. And I think that's just really wrong. Wrong for the reasons that I talked about earlier with risk, but it also has this really dangerous impact on the limiting mindset it gives you. So that limiting mindset means that you only focus on the most popular assets. And by doing so, you limit the opportunity of exploring other really cool cryptocurrencies that are beyond the familiar choices, like XRP as another example here. It's an established cryptocurrency solving a real world problem. And so I urge you to expand your view and challenge the normal way of doing things on this. Don't just look at what the government are telling you. Go out and look. Expand your belief. Make sure your limiting beliefs are now unlimited. Use that to fuel your interest in research and understanding problems that need solving. Perhaps these problems are being solved. In my mind, money is made when problems are solved. So position yourself in cryptocurrencies that are solving problems and the money will follow. That brings me on to number 2. This is the good investor mindset. Do you think that being a good investor means following all of the normal rules and playing it safe? Well, what if I told you that it's that mindset that could actually be holding you back? The normal way of doing things would be to follow all the rules, avoid all the crazy risks, and stick to what's basically familiar and what you have been told. But the limitation of that mindset is the dynamic crypto world. Actually being too cautious means that you miss out on all of these opportunities to grow your portfolio. So we have to redefine what a good investor is. And I think that's someone who understands the risks that they're taking, and they've calculated those. Like they're taking calculated risks. This is the same thing as me being involved so heavily with XRP. I understand that the SEC have gone after Ripple. I understand that there's lots of controversy around XRP. But do I just believe what I'm told? Or do I go out and actually figure it out? Do I go out and figure out why actually? What are the real reasons behind this? What are the real reasons why the government might come after a cryptocurrency? Could it be that they are corrupt? Maybe, sure. Certainly doesn't seem that way. Or could it be that the problem that's being solved is so big that there needs to be some intervention so that the powers that be, the government, can actually take advantage of this shift as well? Could that be it? And if you think that that could be it, it's worth exploring. A good investor, by the government standards, is someone who just follows the normal way of doing things. I think if we redefine a good investor to someone who understands risk and takes calculated risk, who does research, that's a good investor. That's how we need to redefine what an investor is in this space. Not someone who follows blindly and is like a sheep in this world. We want wolves, right? You want to be a wolf in this situation. Those people are people that think critically and act decisively. And so if you are someone who acts decisively and you make decisions and you follow up with those decisions and you kind of move with momentum on those things, you trust your gut. Many of you will have a gut that's telling you, man, I can't afford another 4 years to wait to make any money, because last time I waited 4 years, I didn't take any money out of the market, and I paid for that in time. I paid for that mistake, not knowing that I need to take profits or how to take profits. I paid for that with 4 years of my life. Many of us just don't have 4 years to spare to like just give away on learning a lesson. We've got lives that we want to live and enjoy, and sometimes a solution comes along where you can avoid those 4 years of pain and of waiting. Just learn the lesson in a very short period of time, and then you can take your hands off and go and enjoy your life. That's really what the basis of the program that I've created is doing, right? It's giving you back time. Most people are going to spend 4 years learning a lesson and not make any money this bull run because they didn't, because not making money is the thing that causes them to learn the lesson. And so people who make decisions and who are quite decisive, they really understand the importance of having a clear taking profit plan and also a holding plan, like a portfolio to hold and a portfolio to take profits on. And so if that is you and you align with my way of thinking about time being the most valuable asset, and that you need to get this plan of action so you don't waste the next 4 years, and you're ready to invest in something, invest in yourself and your mindset, I urge you to click the link in the description to book a call with us. It's completely free to be on that call, and we'll just really discover whether this program's actually useful for you or not. Because if it's not useful for you, I don't want you to join. I don't want you to spend loads of money on this thing for it not to get the result that you're looking for. It's been made for a very specific person with a very specific need, and if that need isn't yours, then you won't get the result from the program. If the need is yours, the program's pretty incredible. It will solve the problem. So click the link in the description if you're interested. But the third thing in all of this is why you actually need to become a bad investor. You need to become a risk taker. So let's talk about why being a bad investor, at least according to the traditional standards and definitions, can actually lead you to the best results in crypto. So the way the world will tell you a bad investor is someone who kind of challenges what's normal. They take calculated risks. They do what they're told. They invest where the bank tells them to. They're happy for the bank to have their money and invest that money for the benefit of the bank only. That's how, I guess what I'm describing there is a good investor. A bad investor is someone who doesn't do that. And if you're kind of on the fence and you're kind of new to even the investing space, you will trust the banks because you have your whole life. You'll trust what they're saying because they're the authorities. They know money. And so you want to fit in to what they call a good investor. You do not want to be what they call a bad investor. And I'm suggesting that in many ways you have to actually embrace the bad investor mindset. You have to be proactive, be well researched, be confident, make confident decisions. Believe what you see with your eyes. Believe what you know rather than what other people are telling you. Understand that there's probably an agenda behind what the banks tell you, right? If you can have the confidence and understanding and decisiveness to make your own decisions and think for yourself and be proactive in that, you can't really go wrong with that. So think differently and be bold in all of this. The next thing I want to talk about is this social contract in crypto. I think many of us are stuck in this social contract that basically tells us to avoid risk and play it safe at all times. And it's time to kind of break free from that mindset. And that's the social contract that I'm talking about. It's the unspoken rules, the avoid risks and play it safe mentality. And I just need to break free from that, essentially. And the limitation of sticking strictly to what we are told in these established norms in crypto means you miss out on all the big opportunities. Again, we need to rewrite this definition. We need to change that social contract and actually take strategic risks, like knowledgeable risks, intelligent risks. This is how all the big people in the world have made their money. They thought for themselves and they acted upon what they knew, not what they were being told. I think we could do a lot more on that. I think we do a lot more on that. Number 5, I think we're on number 5, is that we should embrace our risk to actually achieve the desired reality that we're going for. We all have a current situation, a current self, who we are right now, and we have a desired self, but many people haven't defined who that is. I think the first stage of embracing risk is to actually know what risk is to you, because risk is different to everyone, as I said at the beginning. If you took, a risk tolerance test like there is in my program, you get this understanding of who you are innately, who you are internally as a person who takes risk. And only once you've understood risk, I think, and your risk, is when you can actually now achieve the desired reality. So if you've got your current self and your desired self, and then your understanding of risk, it changes the outlook and how you look at that whole situation. For example, if you're a conservative person, your risk is very risk off, like you don't like risk, and you've got your current portfolio, let's say it's 100,000. Your desired situation is, let's say, $10 million that you want, but you have conservative risk tolerance. Two things, that could be two things. One, you either need to change your risk tolerance, which you can't do. You can't change your innate risk tolerance. That's just who you are. There are other factors in all of this that can manipulate your risk tolerance, like your stress tolerance. How much stress can you take? Or even your personality type can mold those things to give you a bit more risk on behavior. But if we just treated the risk profile as the main thing here, just for simplicity's sake, you can't change your innate risk. So what is the other one? The thing you can change. Well, the thing you can change is your expectation. If you have a portfolio that's relatively small and you want to get to a massive price for your portfolio value, that kind of move either takes lots of risk or lots of time. Maybe both. But I would say, if you're conservative in nature, you probably just need to expect a longer time period to pass before you reach your desired reality. And so I think embracing risk is understanding your risk and your tolerance to risk, and then adjusting your expectation of time as a result. And so I think success is available to anyone. Anyone can achieve success in crypto, but it does require a mindset shift. You have to look at risk as an opportunity to navigate an investment world authentically. And it's not something to avoid, but it is something to have a rational view over. If you are very risk on, you can expect to have some sort of result, up or down, a benefit or negative, in a shorter period of time. If you're more conservative, you need to expect the opposite. You need to expect things to take longer. And having that awareness, I think, would be really useful. And again, this is why it's so important to have a clear vision and to take calculated steps to achieve your goal. And I think, I don't know why I'm trying to say this, but don't let the fear of risk prevent you from achieving your desired outcome. The only difference between who you are right now and who you want to be is actually that you're not the person you want to be. Like you, not your portfolio. Your portfolio is a secondary kind of bonus item on the list. The portfolio will change when you become the person you need to be. So I've seen this so much, and I've seen it in my own life as well. If you're someone who has a worldview about money that's scarce, so I view money as scarce. It's a scarce resource. Let's say you're in your house, your parents always told you have to save your money. It's hard, we work hard for this money and we don't have much of it. That develops in you a scarcity mindset around money, and therefore as you grow up, all the decisions you make in life are as a result of that worldview of scarcity. And it means you never actually accumulate much wealth because you're too busy trying to protect it. But if you have someone who doesn't have that scarcity fear about money and who actually thinks about money as energy and it's abundant and available to everyone, money will come a lot easier to that person. So it's actually desiring the development of yourself, becoming who you want to be, that's actually the big determining factor as to whether the wealth comes or not. I think this is a lesson I'm learning. And so to conclude all of this, let's dive into really the power of being a risk taker. The takeaway here is really, success in crypto isn't about being reckless or even about playing it safe. It's actually about taking smart, calculated risks and challenging the way people typically react or understand the world. If you're part of the crowd, you're probably not going to be successful. You have to think for yourself. You have to think differently, and you have to seize opportunities where you see them. Remember, money is made when problems are solved. So which assets do you hold? Which of the assets you hold solve problems? And the size of that problem that crypto solves is going to be the size of the potential growth. I think XRP is primed really well for that. And it's not talked about all the time, even though it's the 6th or 7th ranked cryptocurrency. It's not talked about because the crowd, the general public, are afraid of it because the governments tell them to be afraid of it. Don't let that deter you from the reality of the situation and the reality of the problems being solved by that company. So, when they tell you you need to be a risk taker in crypto or you need to play it safe in crypto, try not to listen to that. Take the appropriate risks based on who you are and invest in what you know to be true. Again, money is generated when problems are solved. Stay emotionless. I'll see you in the next one.